If you're thinking about moving to Maryland, there are some things that you're going to absolutely love and a few things that might surprise you. Today, I'm going to share why I love living in Maryland and also the things that can be challenging so that you can decide if this is the right place for you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met, my name is Larissa Viado, and I am a realtor here in Frederick, Maryland. And today we're talking about why I moved here in Frederick, Maryland, and some of the challenges that we experienced when we first got here. What is it actually like living in Maryland? As a person that is from San Diego, California, and Phoenix, Arizona, I would like to discuss why I fell in love with Maryland and a few things you should know before moving here. One of the reasons why I love Maryland is the location. And this is something that really stands out for a lot of the buyers who are relocating here. My husband and I visited several states before deciding for our final move. We went to Colorado, North Carolina, Virginia Beach, Delaware, and of course, Maryland. And what we really like about Maryland is the position of where it's at. It's in the middle of several major cities, so you're within driving distance of places like Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Northern Virginia, and even Philadelphia. That kind of access opens up a lot of opportunities, whether it's for work, for travel, and in our case, colleges for our kids. It just made a lot of sense. From Frederick, we can get to Washington, D.C. in about an hour, depending on traffic, which allows us to live in a quieter, more spacious area while still having access to major job centers. With more hybrid work schedules, my family will only be commuting a few days a week, which makes the surrounding counties an even more attractive option. Another thing I love is that you're not just close to the cities, but you're also within reach of so many different experiences. You can head to DC for work or entertainment, spend a day by the water near Chesapeake Bay, or even a quick weekend trip to the mountains or nearby states. And that combination of convenience, flexibility, and access is one of the biggest reasons why Maryland continues to attract many buyers from all over the country. Just like us. Another thing I really love about Maryland is the variety. And this is something a lot of buyers don't realize until they start exploring different areas like we did. You can live in a historic town like Frederick with walkable downtown, restaurants, and local shops, or in a more suburban community closer to DC with newer developments and convenient access to major highways. But if you prefer something more relaxed, you can also have a coastal areas near the Chesapeake Bay and even more rural parts of Maryland where you can find larger properties, open land, and a quieter pace of life. What this really means is that buyers have a lot of flexibility depending on their lifestyle. In my case, I was looking for that vibrant, walkable environment where everything is close by newer neighborhoods with amenities like pools, parks, and trails like Lake Linganore and Frederick. That's what makes Maryland so unique. You're not locked into just one type of living. You really could choose a lifestyle that fits you. And it's all within the same state. If you enjoy experiencing all four seasons, then Maryland is a great place to live. As I mentioned before, I used to live in beautiful sunny San Diego and the desert in Phoenix, but I was also born in the Philippines. While all these places have been my home growing up, I wanted to experience all four seasons. I dreamt of the snowflakes falling from the sky and being surrounded by cherry blossoms as I run my errands. Just imagine this, witnessing the blooming trees and flowers from cherry blossoms, and summers are warm and great for outdoor activities where I typically used to run to a shade with air conditioner back in Phoenix when the temperature hits 110 degrees. Fall is actually one of my favorite times of the year. You'll see the mountains and neighborhoods filled with red, orange, and yellow leaves, and it just gives the area a completely different feel. Then comes winter, which is usually pretty mild compared to some other northern states, but you still get a bit of snow here and there, which gives you that seasonal experience without being too overwhelming. And for many people moving from a warmer states like I did, this is something I really enjoyed. And finally, getting to experience the real seasonal changes and having that variety throughout the year. Maryland also has a strong job opportunities, and a big part of that comes from its proximity to Washington, D.C. Because we are so close to the nation's capital, many residents work in industries like government, healthcare, technology, education, and defense contracting. There are also a lot of federal agencies, private contractors, and large organizations in the area, which creates a steady demand for jobs. Even if you don't work directly in DC, there are still plenty of opportunities throughout Maryland itself. Areas like Frederick, Baltimore, Montgomery County all have growing job markets with opportunities in healthcare systems, tech companies, education, and local businesses. Another thing my family and I appreciate now is the flexibility. With more hybrid and remote work options, many people, including my husband, can live in places like Frederick while working for companies based in DC or in the nearby cities. And overall, that combination of access to major job centers, diverse industries, and long term stability is one of the key reasons why Maryland continues to attract new residents each year. Now that I have discussed few reasons why my family and I chose Maryland as our forever state to live in, I must also mention the challenges that we experience moving here. But before I do, let me just mention that if you're considering moving to Maryland, whether that's in 2 months or a year, it's never too soon to hop on a call with me. You can schedule a one-on-one meeting with me using the link in the description. Again, my name is Larissa Viado, and I look forward to speaking with you. Now, let's talk about the other side of the conversation because let's be honest, there is no perfect place. And if you're thinking about moving here, it's important to understand the challenges as well. One of the biggest shock for my family and I when we moved to Maryland is the cost of living compared to Arizona living. In Phoenix, you can often get more space or newer homes at a lower price point than you'll find here in Maryland. When you move to Maryland, especially closer to Washington, D.C., you'll start to notice that home prices and property taxes can be higher, and that can be a bit of an adjustment at first. Two homes that look very similar on paper may have a very different monthly cost, depending on their location, taxes, and even HOA structures. And that's one of the reasons why Frederick has become so popular. A lot of relocators realizes they can get more value for their money here compared to places like Montgomery County or Northern Virginia, while you're still staying within the commuting distance to DC. So let me give it to you straight. So while the cost of living may be higher than in some other parts of the country, many of us feel that the trade off in terms of location, job access, and overall lifestyle is still worth it. But it's definitely something you want to understand and plan for before making the move. Another thing Maryland is known for is traffic, and this is something you definitely want to factor into your decision. Areas closer to Washington, D.C. can experience a pretty heavy congestion, especially during morning and evening commute hours. Even from Frederick, traffic can pick up during peak times, particularly on Route I-270 heading towards DC and I-70, which connects to other parts of Maryland. For example, a commute that might take an hour without traffic can easily stretch longer during rush hours. With that said, a lot of buyers today are working hybrid schedules, which means they are only commuting a few days a week. And because of that, many people feel the trade off is still worth it. They get to live in a quieter, more spacious area like Frederick while still having access to major job centers. So, really, it comes down to your lifestyle and work situation. If you're commuting daily, you'll want to plan carefully around the location. But if you have flexibility, counties like Frederick and Montgomery can offer a great balance between space and accessibility. Summer in Maryland can also be quite humid, and this is something that often catches people off guard when they first move here. Even if the temperature looks very similar to other states on paper, The humidity can make it feel a lot hotter and heavier than expected. It's that kind of heat where you step outside and immediately feel it, especially in the middle of the summer. When I used to live in Phoenix, where it's very dry heat and can get up to 120 degrees with zero wind, it really feels like you're inside an oven no matter where you went. So I honestly do not mind the humidity we experience here in Maryland. The air can feel thicker in the summer, especially in July and August, which takes a little time to adjust to if you're not used to it. But with that said, most homes, cars, and businesses are well air conditioned. So once you're inside, it's very comfortable. And the upside is that you'll get the full seasonal experience. So while summers can be humid, they're balanced out by beautiful falls, mild springs, and manageable winters. Another thing I always make sure my buyers understand is that the property taxes in Maryland can vary depending on the location, and this can make a bigger difference than most people expect. So, when my husband and I were looking for our home, we made sure to go outside of the city limits to avoid the city tax and stick to the county tax. We would rather allocate the extra fee on amenities the kids and I can truly enjoy. What this means is that two homes that look very similar in price, maybe even in the same general area, can actually have different monthly costs once you factor in the taxes. So, one home might look like a better deal up front, but when you break down the numbers, the overall cost of ownership could actually be higher. And this is something I typically walk my buyers through, especially those relocating from out of state, because it's not always obvious when you're just browsing through online. It really comes down to understanding not just the home price, but the total monthly cost, including taxes, HOA fees, and other expenses, so you can make the best decision for your budget and long term goals. Even with those challenges, Maryland continues to attract buyers from all over the country, and a lot of that comes down to the balance it offers. Access to major cities, strong job markets, beautiful natural areas, historic towns, and a wide variety of communities to choose from. Personally, one of the things I love most about Maryland is the sense of community you find in places like Lake Linganore in Frederick County. You have the charm of historic town, vibrant downtown area with restaurants and shops and beautiful surrounding countrysides, all while still being well connected to the major cities. For many buyers, Maryland offers a lifestyle that combines opportunity with quality of life. It's a balance that many people are searching for when they decide to move here. It certainly worked out for us. So, if you're thinking about moving to Maryland and want help understanding which areas might be the best fit your interests, I'd love to help. Whether it's this year or next, I'd be happy to help you explore your options and create a strategy that fits your timeline. You can call, text, or email me anytime. I personally respond. And if you're still researching the area, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I post every week about living in Maryland, local neighborhoods, and what buyers should know before making the move. And again, my name is Larissa Viado, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!